Hey teachers, you know that moment when classroom chatter suddenly clicks and turns into real deep learning? That's what we're talking about today. It's when your students go from just being readers to being actual creators of meaning. That's the power of mastering dialogue, and we're going to break down exactly how you can make that happen in your classroom. So, what's the secret sauce here? Well, it's getting your students to wear two hats at the exact same time. They're not just the audience, passively taking in a story. They're also putting on their author hat and asking, wait, why did the writer do that? This little shift in thinking is a complete game changer for comprehension. And this is where the real magic happens. We're asking them to build these little bridges of understanding. It starts with making connections within the one text they're reading. Then it's about connecting it to other texts they know. And finally, the big one, connecting it beyond the page and into their own world. That's when a story stops being just words and really becomes a part of who they are. All right, so here's our game plan. First, we'll talk about dialogue as a powerful tool. Then we're going to deconstruct the standard itself, get into the nitty-gritty. I'll give you a whole toolkit of strategies, show you exactly what it looks like in a K-12 classroom, and then we'll wrap up by talking about how to make this a solid routine. First up, let's totally reframe how we think about classroom talk. Seriously, this isn't just about getting kids to participate. It's about turning every conversation into a genuine comprehension powerhouse. Okay, now let's pull back the curtain on the standard itself. And don't let all the academic language scare you. We're going to make this super simple and super practical. Just look at the key phrases right here. Engage in dialogue as author and audience, and make intentional connections. That's it. That tells us everything. The goal isn't just random chatter, it's purposeful, meaningful dialogue that's designed to build real understanding. Now, to have these really rich conversations, students need a shared language, right? The words you see here, like analysis, evaluation, problems and solutions, these are the tools they're going to use. We're not just asking for their opinion. We're teaching them how to build an argument and solve problems together, all through talk. All right, enough theory. Let's get practical. This next section is all about your classroom toolkit, a bunch of high-impact, low-prep strategies you can literally start using tomorrow. Now, this might sound incredibly basic, but trust me, it is non-negotiable. We just can't assume that kids know how to talk to each other productively. We have to explicitly teach it. That means modeling what active listening and respectful turn-taking actually look and sound like. This is the foundation for everything else. Okay, this right here, this is my absolute favorite low-prep, high-impact tool. The simple frame, questions, comments, or connections, gives every single student an entry point into the conversation. It lowers that anxiety and provides just enough structure so that instead of silence, you get these rich, multi-layered discussions. It's awesome. And to take that support just a step further, make it visual. Anchor charts with question stems are basically cheat sheets for critical thinking. They give students the exact language they need to talk about characters or themes or the author's purpose, especially when they get a little stuck. This is so important. None of these strategies are going to work as a one-off lesson. The only way to build these skills is to make them a daily, predictable part of your classroom culture. That consistency is what transforms a simple strategy into a genuine, lasting practice. And finally, don't forget about your most powerful tool, your own brain. A think aloud, where you just narrate your thought process while you read, is the single best way to show students what it means to think like both a reader and an author at the same time. All right, so we've got the theory and we've got the tools. Now let's put it all together. Let's see what this actually looks like on, say, a Tuesday morning in a first grade classroom. I'm going to walk you through a super simple but really powerful model lesson. We'll break the whole lesson down into 3 easy, familiar parts. What we do before reading, what we do during reading, and what we do after reading, all with the goal of intentionally creating great dialogue. So before you even open the book, the lesson has already started. The goal here is to prime their brains, get them thinking like authors and critics before they've even read a single word. You can start with a question this simple. Just by asking what an author does, you're immediately reminding them that a real person with a real goal wrote this book. You're already shifting their mindset from just consuming to actively analyzing. A prompt like this turns them into little detectives, doesn't it? They're not just looking at a pretty picture on the cover. They're analyzing how the author and the illustrator actually work together to create a specific feeling or idea. And as your students start to respond, this is what you're listening for. Simple, clear statements that show you they get the roles of the creators. When a student says, the author is the person telling the story, boom, you know you've successfully planted that seed. Okay, now we're moving into the text itself. This part is kind of a dance between teacher modeling with those think alouds and then letting students process with each other through some structured partner talk.
Remember that think aloud from our toolkit? This is it in action. But now you're turning it over to the students. Asking what went through your mind invites them to share their own internal monologue, which makes their thinking visible to everyone in the room.
And this connects the text directly to your students' own emotional lives. By asking how they felt, you're validating their personal responses and helping them build that crucial bridge between the character's experience and their own. So, we've deconstructed the standard, we've explored the toolkit, we've even walked through a lesson. The final, and honestly the most important step, is bringing this all back to your classroom and making it an everyday practice. It's about turning these intentional moves into natural habits. So, I'll leave you with this question to think about. You don't have to implement everything all at once. Just pick one thing. Is it going to be the questions, comments, or connections frame? Maybe a daily think aloud? What is the one routine you are going to start tomorrow to turn your students' talk into a true comprehension powerhouse?